Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is Ainsley, and this is Barn A. I breed Rex and New Zealand for meat and show. Today, I am going to do a few things on the homestead. The biggest thing that I need to get done today is I need to go through all of the holdbacks for the last fall litter, and I need to see what I'm going to be doing with all of them. I don't have a whole lot of cage space, but I do have 2 more holes that I could fill for the winter. So I'm going to go through everybody and see who's worth keeping, who's not worth keeping. I believe it's 2 litters, and I grew them out. I think they are, I want to say almost 3 months now, but I'd have to check. I don't have my phone with me. I've been growing them out because they've been pretty decent the whole time. But now is kind of when I will make the final decision on whether or not they are going to stay throughout the winter. It is super rainy out today, so we are going to do everything in the barn. If we have time, I probably will go ahead and I will groom Copper again, and I'll show you guys how that works. He is my Angora. And if the rain stops and the sun comes out, I'm probably going to put the garden back to sleep for the winter. So without further ado, let's get into it. I 100% forgot to bring in my mat from outside. I knew it was going to rain last night and I didn't even think about it. So now we have to put down a towel. So we're not doing any New Zealand holdbacks. I'm actually on the prowl for some new stock. So hopefully I will have some video of that coming up, but so first candidate, not too bad. She does peak a little bit early, I think, so I don't love that. I kind of want her peak to be back here. I gave everybody hay and now they're very excited. So let's take a look at her loin. Decent loin, not too bad, which is to be expected. Her father is Preston, so yes, I know. And decent shoulder width, which again, that's a Preston thing. Don't love how long she is. I would prefer the peak to be back here, and I want a little bit more depth, and then I want a very quick drop. So she's just a little bit too round for me. So she is probably going to end up going to the freezer. She's got a good attitude, but if you can kind of see, she's just too peaky in the front. Okay, now this amber, I like this amber. She still sort of peaks a little bit early. She has a little bit of space between her shoulders. She slopes the way I want her to slope. She doesn't have a whole lot of depth, but she does slope off right where I want her to slope off. I love the fact that she is a big, hefty doe. She's a big old girl. I don't love her attitude though. She doesn't have a great attitude. She's kind of a jerk. She's not aggressive. She's just unwilling to work with you. You pick her up out of her cage and she would much rather fight you than wait, although she does stack up really good. She's got a little bit of skirt, which I like to see on the Rex because the Rex are a pelt breed. Don't love the shade of amber that she is. I don't really like the amber anyway. Fur type, I'd like it to be a little bit plushier. It's not as loose as any of the Phillip kits that we've had, but it's also not as plushy as I'd like it to be. As of right now, she's on the docket to be kept just because of her size. I like a doe with a nice big size. Let's take a look at her loin. Nice and round. She doesn't have a whole lot of space between her hips and her loin. So that's also really nice to see. Most Rex that I have seen tend to have a hollow loin, or at least in this area. So making sure that we're not breeding for hollow loin, or hollow hips, I should say, is ideal. So she's not too bad. I didn't show it on camera, but she also has decent hocks. I always check their hocks to make sure that they're in line, they're straight, and that they have big feet, because that is directly what's going to affect whether or not your does lose fur on their feet and then continue to get sore hock. It can also happen to bucks, but I find that it happens more often to does because their weight is fluctuating as they are kindling. So you always want to check their hocks. Okay, this is her brother. And type-wise, I like him a lot. I don't love how narrow his shoulders are. They're not long, but they are narrow. But he's really nice and compact. He peaks where I want him to, and he slopes where I want him to. He also has that nice full loin, which is really nice to see. We've been working on that for a while. A little bit pelty, but not as pelty as his sister. I'm not really in the market for another Rex buck. I really have too many. So he is currently for sale. He would make someone a really nice buck, especially someone who is just starting to show. I want more depth. That's why I have Esme, because Esme has depth for days, but not much else. So I would prefer more depth in these guys, but their mom is Freya, and Freya is a long doe. She's a long doe, and she doesn't have a whole lot of depth. So to see a little bit of depth in these guys is promising. The reason why I keep Freya is because she's an excellent mother, and she loves to have kits. She's also a really great brood doe, and with the right buck, she passes on a lot of decent color and a nice growth rate. And then again, these kits were Preston kits, so they've got his type, which is really nice. I don't want to keep you, especially because you're a caster, but if no one picks him up, there is a solid chance that I might keep him, maybe offer him with a trio. His hocks aren't terrible. I don't love them though. He's got smaller feet, and while they are in line with his body, they point in just a tiny bit. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, this is Miss Tilly. So Miss Tilly is a really nice doe. She does peak a bit early, but she's really compact, and that's what I like about her. She is on the smaller side, but I did check her feet last week. She's got really nice hocks. The problem with this lady is she has one tiny little white spot. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but in a self black, that is not what you like to see. But she also has that full loin that we were talking about with a couple other kits, which is also really good to see. It's good to see that most of the potential holdbacks on these litters have those full loins. She's got really nice dense fur. I don't love how small she is. I don't love the white dot. I would prefer a little bit more depth, but because that's what we're actively working towards, is getting that longness bred out, getting that depth increased. I do think that she's also going to be on the docket for growing out, just because I think that I like how compact she is. And again, with a lot of our stock starting out a couple years ago, very long. She's got a nice face. She's got, her ears are a little bit smaller than I'd like to see. I want them just a tiny bit bigger. Longer ears are going to give better temp regulation, or at least that's how it was explained to me when I first got into the hobby. They also keep track of that in the SOP, or standard of perfection. Too short ears will get you a DQ, too long will get you a DQ, or at least in this area. So that's something that we are keeping an eye on too. Yes, you actually have the best hocks that I've seen today. Yes, you have good hocks. Best hocks. This is her brother. I did check on him a couple weeks ago, but looks like he's gonna end up having a long shoulder, which is fair because his mom is Freya, and that seems to be a thing that happens with her. So going forward, next year there's a solid chance that, despite her being a really good mom and her being a good brood doe, we may process her if we have better does that don't carry this lack of shoulder width and a longness in the shoulder. It's got a nice full loin. He's a self chocolate, and I love the chocolates. I love the blues. That's what I want to specialize in. But again, if he's not a good candidate, he's not a good candidate. And I already have enough animals that lack this shoulder width. Part of the reason that we hard cull and we don't pick favorites is because we are here to continue to better the breed. We're here to make sure that we can offer really nice breed stock to other people who are looking to get into the hobby. So our main focus is type, health, attitude, and then color. He's probably going to go to the freezer. I would not sell that long shoulder. Okay, that is 2 animals on the docket for the next time that we process. The rest can hang out for a little while longer. I like the look of the amber, and I do like the self black, partially because I love a good self black, but those are probably the 2 that I'm actually thinking about keeping. The buck, I will continue to have him listed for sale. If no one picks him up, I'll probably use him in the springtime for a couple of other does. Okay, so now I'm going to go get a new towel, and I'm going to get my pet blower, and we are going to groom and pluck copper. And for those who have never seen copper, this is my satin Angora. I use him for fiber because I spin. Now, he is a pluckable variety. So this coat that I'm actually taking out right now has already started, well, it's mostly shedded out now. So it's ready to come out. And if it's coming out hard, I brush it out. Rabbits have very thin skin, so if it is coming out hard, I just brush it out as much as I can, and then I will either cut it or I'll let it shed out naturally. But all of this stuff is ready to come out. During this time, he is grooming himself more often. He could get wool block, which is essentially where he's eaten too much of his own shedding fur, and it can get stuck in his intestines. That's also another reason why all Angoras should get hay every day. I always feed it, doubly so when we're talking about Angoras, because that helps push all of the fur out. It kind of cleans out their gut as they're shedding and as they're grooming themselves. Don't do this process all at once. He will not shed all at once, so this is usually a 2-week process for us. I also only keep him on the table as long as he is willing. I don't want it to be a bad experience ever for him, so when he tells me that he's done, I listen and I put him back. And we usually, hopefully it'll be Saturday that I can do this again with him. But it usually does take us a couple weeks to get him fully defibered. But again, we have a partnership. Everybody, all of my rabbits and I have a partnership, but specifically with him, he has a hard job, which is to make fur. So he gets more nutrition, he gets more time, specifically because I have to take him out at least, you know, every other week, and I have to run the animal dryer on him and all that stuff. So him and I have a good relationship, and I want to keep it that way. So as soon as he tells me he's done, I put him back in his cage. I'm gonna go collect some maple leaves for him though. That's one of his favorite fall treats. I'm not putting him back yet because it's like really raining out. So I'm gonna give him some hay, and I'm gonna scrape down his cage while I have the time and he's here. So I'll get some video of him munching on some hay for you guys. Okay. It did not get any drier outside, so I'm not gonna tackle the garden today. I probably will tackle it this weekend, but if you want to see more rabbit content, more homestead content, more gardening content, all that good stuff, go ahead and give us a like on this video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell. I'm gonna go feed rabbits like I always do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. What about these? Yeah, I know, those are your favorite.